Peter and Anke SCHUETTLER, a couple in a hurry. They're about to move out of the flat they've rented for the last 2 years to somewhere bigger and nearer the schools where they work. They're in their early 30s and recently got married. In some countries, they'd be thinking about getting a mortgage and settling down. But the fact they'd have to pay at least 20% of the house price up front means they can't imagine being homeowners.
The process of getting the credit and with the notary and all the contracts is quite complicated in Germany. It takes a lot of time. So you think twice or 3 times before you just say, okay, we could just buy a house, and then if we don't, it's not like with a car. You buy a car, have it 2-3 years, and then you sell it. In Germany, it's much more difficult.
Frankfurt is home to Germany's banking industry. Many people here told us it's relatively tough to get a mortgage, but that's not always a bad thing.
It's
Because my husband was self-employed, it was very difficult for us to get a mortgage.
It's tougher here than in the US. In America, they were lending to anyone who could spell their name.
Frankfurt does have its fair share of recently built luxury apartments, but it's managed to avoid, like many German cities, the kind of speculation that's destabilized housing markets in places like Britain.
GROTE, a professor at a private business school, says Germany's experiences after reunification provided a painful lesson.
There were a hell of a lot of activity going on there, building up basically Eastern Germany. And this resulted in a house price bubble, if you like, there. And people burnt their fingers there. And so after the dramatic collapse, there's been even more cautiousness.
Fabian Christandl spends his time analysing how and why Germans spend their money. For him, their cautiousness goes back to the 1940s.
These norms are rooted in the puritanical ethic of the war and the post-war generation. And these norms are still present, and therefore Germans are not going into debt. Just not as much as other Europeans and Americans do.
Whatever the case, Peter and Anke say they're actually happy to keep on renting. Although if they do start a family, they wouldn't mind getting a little house in the countryside. Nadim, Al Jazeera, Frankfurt.